Hi everyone, Chris here with Rainbow Guys DIY. Today I'm going to be installing some industrial shelving in our kitchen above where we just installed our new sink. On this side over here I'm going to put some shelving, and on this side over here I'm going to install a pipe rack. And on this side I'm going to install a pot rack. Now all these are going to be made out of 3/4 inch black piping. I'll leave a link down below to the pipes that I used. I did find them online a lot cheaper than going to the home center and buying actual gas piping. It's a pretty popular look now, so you can buy them as a furniture accessory versus actual black gas piping. So let's get started. Alright, just a few things you'll need to get started on this project. We have a drill and a screwdriver, a stud finder, a pencil to mark the wall, a ruler, and a tape measure. As far as the actual hardware, we have these flanges that will attach to the ends of the pipes, and this is what will attach to the walls and this ceiling. Then we'll need some T-junctions and some elbows. And then I have some 12-inch sections of pipe and some 18-inch sections of pipe. So I would encourage you to sketch out how you're going to configure your shelves just so you can have the correct amount of pipes and fittings and all of that. And then I have some drywall anchors and screws. Some of the locations are not going to hit studs in the wall, so I just want to make sure that they are properly supported. So I've already marked where the flanges are going to hit on the wall, at the bottom point, and on the ceiling. I am checking to make sure that they're going to hit a stud. If not, we need to put in an anchor. And in the ceiling, if they're going to hit a joist. In our case, they do not. So I have drilled 2 small holes and just put some nails in them. I'm going to go up in the attic next to locate them and then put in a cross brace so that it has some good strong structure. These are going to be fairly heavy. The shelving we are using is 2-inch dimensional lumber. It is heavy. So that on top of anything we put on the shelves, any dishes, pots, pans, whatever, I want to make sure they're not going anywhere. Same for the pot rack. I did locate the joist over here, so it will actually anchor into that, but we'll be hanging cast iron pans and other things, so it is going to be bearing a lot of weight. I want to make sure it does not collapse on us. Next step is going to be going up into the attic. Yay! Okay, so I have located my first section here, and I've pre-cut some cross braces to just go right in between. I am going to lay them down so that all 3 of the holes in the flange have something solid to connect to. So I'm going to lay it in place and then hammer in from this side of the joist with some framing nails and call it good. All right, now that we've got our braces up in the attic, we can start assembling our arms that are going to support the shelves. So I'll show you the configuration that I will be installing. So one thing to note when you get your pipes is they are typically covered in some kind of grease, grime, dirt. I'm not exactly sure what, but they are not clean to work with. So you can just take some Windex and wipe them down. They clean up pretty good. You can then seal them with a spray lacquer or a wax of some sort just so they don't rust. I have chosen not to do that because I would like to see a little bit of rust on them. Once they start to oxidize a little, I will probably come back with some wax and seal them up. So for my setup, I will be having an 18-inch pipe that will be attached to the ceiling. So this flange will screw to the ceiling with an 18-inch pipe coming down. From there, I will attach a T-junction with a 12-inch pipe coming out of each of the other holes. So one at a 90-degree angle and one straight down. And then on there, I will attach a 90-degree elbow. And another 12-inch pipe go, get them nice and snug. And then on the back of each of these 12-inch pipes, they will be connected to the wall with another flange. So this is my setup. There will be a shelf sitting here and a shelf sitting here. So that will be attached up there, and that will be attached back towards the wall. I will install 2 of these, one here and one over here, and then the wooden shelves will just rest on top of here. The wood that I got for this is just dimensional lumber. It was a 2x12. So it's actually 1.5 inches by 11.5 inches. So it actually just perfectly fits sitting on here. All right, I'm gonna get these cleaned up a bit and start installing them to the wall. All right, so now I'm going to start installing I will just call them brackets, the pipes. I'm going to start by actually just attaching the flange to the ceiling. I've done a couple of these, and the easiest thing I found was to attach this to the ceiling and then kind of build it in place versus trying to hold the whole structure up while you're attaching it. So I will be attaching it with these long machine screws. You don't want to use drywall screws because they can tend to be brittle. This is going to be supporting a lot of weight, so you need a good strong structural screw that will hold it. Before I get too much farther, I am going to measure to make sure that they are where they need to be. The very front of the flange should be at 14 1/8 from the wall. That is good. Okay. Next step will be to attach this to the ceiling flange. And then we will attach our shelf supports. When you tighten these down, you will want them to be snug, but they don't need to be so incredibly tight that you can't move them, because you do need to be able to make some adjustments as you go along. So I had already marked some holes on the wall side, but they don't seem to be quite lining up. So I am going to just remark them. I grabbed a little level. This one actually has a magnet on it, which is super convenient because it will stick to the iron pipes. We're going to make sure it is level coming down, level front and back, and then I will mark the holes where they need to go. And now that they are marked, we can twist these back out of our way. More than likely, you are going to be scuffing up your walls a little bit with this. So just be prepared with a little bit of touch-up paint. I did have a small drill bit to test some of these locations to see if they were hollow or hit a stud or some sort of support. So those two do hit a support. Let's see about this one. No, and I highly doubt this one is going to. Nope. Okay. So for any location that does not have some kind of structural support behind the hole, I am going to be using these wall anchors. These particular anchors come with the drill bit needed to install them. So I will just install it in my drill. And drill those. So these two along the bottom are hitting a support that I actually put in because I thought ahead a little bit. When I was putting my drywall back up, I put in a support there. This one hits a stud. This one up here hits nothing. So all three of these holes are going to be supported by anchors. So I will just get those started. Okay, Okay, we have our anchors in. So we will move these uprights back into place. The holes should just line back up. This one's kind of snug, which is good. And that one. The anchors came with screws, so I will just use those to attach these. You don't want to over tighten because you can break the anchor. Those are in there nice and secure. Now for the bottom shelf. And that is really secure. First one's in, now we'll repeat the steps for the second one. Nice and secure. So the next step for the shelves is just to lay the shelves on here. If you like, you can get some conduit clamping to actually clamp the shelves to the supports. We, like I said, are using 2x12, so they're fairly heavy, and I am not concerned about them shifting with use. If we do find they start to shift, a simple clamp from the underside will take care of that. So let me go get the shelves and get them mounted. Slip our shelves in like so. There you have it. All right, now we're going to work on the pot rack on this side here. So for this, it is essentially just going to be a pipe that comes down, across, and back up. We will then put some rings on that to hang the pots. So I am going to first mount the first flange and then assemble everything and then mount the second flange. I do have it marked out to start right on the joist. So 2 of the screws are going to hit on the joist, and that should be enough strength to hold everything up. The third one I will need to use an anchor on. So that is the first hole right there. I'm just going to line it up so the second one also hits the joist. Third one back there will need, the third one will need an anchor. Everything is in there really nice and tight. So I'm going to be using a 12-inch pipe to come down off of the ceiling. We are then going to use a 90-degree elbow. And then an 18-inch pipe for the length of it. Now I could not find any hooks that would fit over the pipe and then also be able to hook the pot onto. So what we got were just these rings that will slide over the pipe, and then we can hook hooks onto the rings. So I got 8 of these. I'm just going to open them up and get them on there. Now I did get 2-inch rings. This is only a 3/4 inch pipe, so there's plenty of space underneath. I didn't want it to be too snug because I wanted them to be able to move freely, and then also some of them might have a single hook or even 2 hooks on them, depending on what we're hanging. I am adding 8 on there, which is probably more than we'll need, but that way I don't have to disassemble this to add more later. Now we're going to add another 90-degree elbow. We want that facing up. And then next is going to be the 12-inch. I am going to add the flange on first, just so I'm not up at the ceiling trying to figure that out. Now on the flange, I do want 2 of the holes to run parallel to the wall so that they both hit the joist. Just gonna rest that there. Wipe my hands off real quick. Now I do want this pipe to be parallel to the wall, so I'm going to measure where this flange ended up. And it looks like we are right at 8 1/4 to the back side of the flange. So I'm just going to make a little mark. And there you go, completed pot rack. Now the side of the flange that is in the anchor, I'm finding isn't quite as strong as I would like, so I'm going to swap those anchors out for another style, or I might go back up in the attic and add a block on the other side of the joist, just to have something more secure to hang it into. Once this is full of pots, I don't want there to be any issues with it potentially falling. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.
If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also be sure to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our new videos. You can also follow us on social media at rainbowguysdiy for even more content. See you next time.
Please be sure.